Hello everyone, I want to extend my congratulations to the students who have successfully passed the CKA exam and have been following my CKA series. Welcome to the CKA series. In this video, we'll be addressing 10 guaranteed questions you might encounter in the CKA exam. I took this all from my existing CKA series. The link in the description is available for anyone who wishes to follow it. This is part 1, focusing on the initial 5 questions, presented in the order of their respective weightage. I'm confident that by thoroughly understanding these first 10 questions, you can easily secure over 60% of the marks in the exam. Keep in mind that achieving just 66% is required to pass. Our first topic is on performing cluster upgrade, a definite question you'll encounter. Without any more delay, let's dive right into it. The first question is, given an existing Kubernetes cluster running version 1.26.0, you have to upgrade the master node and worker node to version 1.27.0. Be sure to drain the master and worker node before upgrading it, and uncoordinate after the upgrade. The weightage of this question is 12%. Before going to cluster, you have to go through the documentation part. Search for upgrade. Here you can see different cluster version upgradation documents, and choose the proper one. Here you can see the detailed documentation for the cluster upgradation. You can see Debian and Red Hat-based cluster upgradation commands here, but in the exam your cluster will be based on Debian. You have to practice this question very well before your exam, because it is a must-asking question in the exam with high weightage marks. I'm recommending to make a cluster in your laptop and practice well. I will share the link in the description for making a cluster in your laptop. Without further delay, let's kickstart. Okay, we have a cluster with version 1.26. According to the question, we have to upgrade the master and worker nodes to version 1.27. Let's drain the control plane first. Okay, control plane is drained and become unschedulable. Next we need to get into the control plane machine through SSH command. Now we are in the control plane machine. In the exam, you can get into the machine without passing a password. Let's unhold kubeadm package. Okay, we need root permission to do that, so we can use sudo-i command in order to get root privilege. Now we got the root privilege. Let's update the OS first. Next we have to install kubeadm version 1.27. kubeadm installed. Let's hold the kubeadm package. Holding kubeadm means that once a package is marked as hold, then it will not be automatically updated or removed by the package manager. This is not a mandatory command from the exam point of view. Let's upgrade the kubeadm to the new version. Please note, this may take more than 5 minutes, so please wait patiently. Done, we have successfully upgraded. We can see a success message on the screen also. If you read the message, then we can see a recommendation from the Cube ADM for upgrading the kubelet service. Let's install the kubelet version 1.27. Okay. Let's restart the kubelet service. Now we have to exit from the control plane machine, so you have to run the exit command 2 times. Now we return to the first machine. Yes, we can see our control plane upgraded to version 1.27, but still it is unschedulable. Let's change that. Perfect. Next, we need to upgrade the worker node, so first we need to drain the node 01. Okay, let's SSH to the node machine. Now we are in the node machine. Let's run the sudo -i command for getting root privilege. Let's update the OS first. Okay, next we have to install Cube ADM version 1.27. Okay, next we have to upgrade the Cube ADM to 1.27 version. Done. Next we have to install kubelet 1.27 version. Let's restart the kubelet service. Okay, Run the exit command 2 times for exit from the node machine. Now we have successfully upgraded Cube ADM and Cube LED on control plane and worker node. Yes, we can see both nodes are upgraded to version 1.27, but the worker node is still unschedulable. Let's uncordon the worker node. Congratulations, we have successfully completed this task. This is must-asking question, so you have to practice this well. For practicing this question, I'm recommending to making a master and worker node in your laptop using VirtualBox. As you see in my laptop, my worker node have 2 core and 2 GB RAM and my master node have the same configuration, so if you have at least i5 machine, you can make a cluster in your laptop. Detailed video I posed on this YouTube channel. I will share the links in description. Or you can go to YouTube and search the keyword Kubernetes bare metal cluster on Ubuntu, then you will get the video. This is the video. In this video I will explain how to create one master and one node cluster on your laptop. You can find a GitHub link here, so all commands for making this cluster will be available there. And also I'm recommending to go through the official documentation to upgrade the cluster. If you have a cluster on your laptop, then you can easily practice these questions, because this is the most weighted question in the exam. We are successfully secured 12% mark. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Okay, the next sure shot question is about taking etcd backup and restoring. This is also a high weightage question. Please note, most of the time, they will ask you to take the existing cluster backup, but they may also ask to restore an old backup that wasn't created by us. Expect this type of tricky question, but don't worry, our next question addresses the same. The second question is: create a snapshot of etcd and save it to a particular location. Location and the backup name mentioned here, you can use the below certificates for that. After taking the backup, you have to restore an old backup that is stored in another location to etcd backup folder. Please note, you have to restore the old backup, not the latest one. Once you restored, then you have to change the etcd pod volume mount path to the new path. The weightage of this question is 12%. Without further delay, let's go to the cluster. First, check the certificates that are mentioned in the question under the root directory. We have 2 certificates and a server key for taking the snapshot. Let's go to the documentation and search for etcd snapshot. Choose the first link and scroll down. Copy this command to a notepad. According to the question, we have to save the snapshot to /root/backup directory, and the backup name should be etcd backup new. Next, we need to provide the path of the certificates and the key. Perfect. Let's copy and apply it to the cluster. Done. Snapshot is created. Next we need to verify the snapshot, so let's go to the documentation. Just copy this command. Yes, our snapshot is perfect. Next, we need to restore an old backup. Please note, as per the question, we need to restore an old backup instead of the latest one. This is the new backup, and we need to restore the old one. Okay, let's go to the documentation. We can take this command as reference. Actually, we need to do only a small change in the existing command for converting to the restore, so just remove the save and replace it with the restore command. And the snapshot should be the old one. And we need to add the restore destination directory here. As per the question, it should be etcd backup under the /var/lib. So just copy the data directory and add into the command. Perfect. If we run this command, then our old backup will be restored to the etcd backup directory. Okay, before that, we need to check the current pods in our cluster. Currently, we have one pod. We need to check the pods after the restoration. So I'm adding one more pod. Actually, you don't need to do this in the examination. I am doing this only for the purposes of confirming whether our snapshot is restored or not after restoration. Okay, now we have two pods. Let's apply the restore command. Our snapshot is successfully restored to etcd backup directory. Okay, let's go to the location. This is the location of the old snapshot restored. We can see one etcd directory here, which is the current volume mount point of the etcd pod. We have to change this location to our etcd backup directory. So, let's go to the manifest folder. etcd pod is a static BA, so we have to edit an etcd YAML file. This is the path for volume mount into the etcd pod. We have to change this path to the etcd backup directory. Let's save and exit. Since it is a static pod, kubelet service will recreate the pod once it is updated. Let's check the available pods now. It may take a few minutes. In the examination you don't have to test this. Once you restore the etcd, then you can go to the next question. This is the high weightage question in the CKA examination, so you have to learn this very well. That's why we provided this in 2 sections. Yes, it is restored. Okay, we secured almost 24% marks on the CKA exam. The next sure shot question is about join a node to our cluster. This is also a high weightage question. Without any more delay, let's dive right into it. The third question is, please join node 01 worker node to the cluster, and you have to deploy a pod in node 01. Pod name should be web and image should be Nginx. This question weightage is 6%. Without further ado, let's go to the cluster. Let's check the available nodes. You can see, we have only the master node in this cluster. According to the question, we have to join the node 01 into the cluster. Let's go to the documentation and search for the token. Actually, for adding the nodes to a cluster, we have to run a kubeadm join command from the node machine. This token we can get from the master node. On this page you can see the token create command. By using this command in the master node you will get a token. Just copy this command and log in into the master node. In the examination you will be on a machine that is outside of the cluster, so you have to SSH to the master node to run this command. Now I'm in the master node. If you run this command, then you will get a joining token. In order to join a node to cluster, we need just run this command in the node. So go to the node using SSH. Now we are in the node 01. Run the token. We got some error. Let's check whether node has joined or not. Node is not joined. What will be the problem? Let's check. Okay, kubelet is not running, so let's restart. Okay, now it is running. Let's join again. Then exit from the node 01. Yes, now our node is added to our cluster. Let's create the pod. Yes, our pod is running. So far we completed 3 sure-shot questions. Our next question focuses on fixing common cluster issues. Sometimes, restarting the kubelet service might be enough. Other times, the configuration has some mistakes, so that time, you need to do more investigations, but don't worry, our next question dives deeper into troubleshooting these scenarios. The fourth question is, please deploy a pod on node 01 as per the below specification. The pod name should be web pod, the container name should be web, and the image should be nginx. You can see, this simple question's weightage is 6%, which means, it is an intermediate question. Let's create the web pod. We need to change the container name to web. Let's apply the YAML file. You can see our pod is in the pending status. Still pending, then check the available nodes. You can see node 01 is in not ready status, which means node 01 has some issues. It may be related to some services such as kubelet, or Docker daemon, etc. Let's get into the node 01 using SSH command. Now we are in the node machine. Let's check for the status of kubelet service. You can see the kubelet service is not running. In the examination, if you face this question, then first you need to restart the service. If it is not working, then only you need to check for the configuration settings. Let's try for starting the service. Let's check the status again. It is not started, so it is definitely related to the wrong configuration settings. This is the path of the configuration of kubelet. In the examination, they may add some wrong paths in this file, so you have to verify whether these paths are correct or not. I'm taking this path first. I can see this path does not exist. Kubelet is actually located in the bin folder, not in the local folder. Let's edit the configuration file. Just remove the local from the path. Just save and exit. Let's start the service again. We are getting a warning that tells us to reload the daemon service first, so just run this command for restarting the daemon. Okay, let's start again. Let's check the status again. Yes, now it is running. Now our node can schedule the pods, so let's exit from node 01 first. Okay, now we are in the control plane. Let's delete our pod. Okay, our nodes are in the ready state now. Actually, we don't need to delete the pod. It will be scheduled on node 01 as soon as the node is available. Unfortunately, I deleted the pod. So let's redeploy the pod. You can see our pod is running, and now it is scheduled on node 01. Okay, this is the last question in this video. This is another sure-shot question, and it is for to reschedule the existing pods to another nodes. We will cover next 5 question on the another part. If you are thorough this 5 question, then you can easily get more than 50% of the passing mark. So without further delay, let's go to the final question. The 5th question is, mark the worker node named K worker as unschedulable, and reschedule all the pods running on it to another node. This question's weightage is 6%. Without further delay, let's kickstart. Let's list the pods first. We can see 3 pods are running in this cluster in the default namespace. 1 pod is scheduled in K worker, and the rest of pods are in K worker 2. According to the question, we have to drain the K worker for maintenance, and reschedule the pods to other nodes. We need to drain the K worker node. In order to do that, we have to use cordon command first. Let's check the status of nodes. We can see the K worker node become unschedulable. Let's check the pods. You can see 1 pod is still in K worker node. Because cordon is using for just disabling further scheduling, and it will not evict existing pods. For rescheduling pods, we have to use the drain command. We can go to the documentation and search for drain command. This is the command for drain the nodes. Okay, let's try this command. Oops, we are getting 1 error. Okay, we can see 1 metric server pod is using local storage. Due to this, draining is failed. You may get this same error in the exam, but don't worry, you can see the solution in this error code. You only need to add delete empty directory data argument with the command to solve this issue. You can see there is no change in the cluster, so let's retry the command once again. Here we go. Done, we have successfully drained the node. Let's check the pods once again. We can see all pods are scheduled to K worker 2. Okay, we have successfully completed the question. Now we can make the node schedulable. In the exam you don't need to do this, unless they mentioned in the question. Let's check the pods now. We can see still all pods are scheduled in worker 2, which means pods will not be rescheduled to the K worker as soon as K worker is available. Congratulations! We've effectively tackled the initial 5 questions in this series. No need to fret, as I'll be providing the next set of 5 questions shortly. Remember to practice these questions repeatedly. Thank you for tuning into this video. If you found it helpful, please consider liking and subscribing.